Good morning, and welcome to Score Values on 670 The Score. I'm Sean Anderson. On this week's episode, I will speak to Peter Beal Del Vecchio, the CEO of Marillac St. Vincent Family Services, and you'll hear from WGN sports reporter Mike Lowe on why he's running a triathlon. Welcome into Score Values. I'm Sean Anderson, and today I'm joined by the CEO of Marillac St. Vincent Family Services, Peter Beal Del Vecchio. How are you, Peter?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on, Sean.
Excited to talk to you. St. Vincent's a name that I'm very used to. I went to a Catholic grammar school, so St. Vincent is a person I'm very familiar with. But Marillac St. Vincent Family Services, I'm not. So for our audience and myself, could you explain a little bit about what you guys do?
Sure, happy to do it. And the Marillac part comes from St. Louise de Marillac. She was a partner with St. Vincent. So we've combined two organizations a couple of years ago, and so hence the name that we have now. But it's easiest to think about what we do in three basic pillars. The first one being early childhood education, which is we take kids as young as 6 weeks old up to 5 years old who are getting ready for kindergarten. And then our second pillar would be youth services, which is before and after school care for kids once they are in kindergarten, so 5 years old up to age 13. And then we also under youth services have a program for pregnant and parenting teenagers where we have doulas who help through the birth process and birth plan, et cetera. And then our final pillar is community outreach services. So we have two food pantries that we run, one of the largest on the west side that the Greater Chicago Food Depository works with, as well as a lot of work with seniors, helping them to be able to stay independent and at home. And we have some other programs that we do in conjunction with the county around utility assistance and programs with the city where we do crisis intervention. If a police officer goes and finds someone is not taking care of themselves during a well-being check, they can dispatch our social workers to make sure that people get their help. So it's a full gamut. We have, I think, obviously prenatal with our moms and moms to be, and all the way to our oldest senior, I think, is 102. So when we say family services, it is that full life gamut. But those three pillars: early childhood, youth services, and community outreach. Yeah,
I was about to say, you guys really do embrace the family part. We're talking to Peter Beal Del Vecchio, the CEO of Marillac St. Vincent Family Services. Peter, let's start off maybe with yourself. I saw that you joined this organization back in 2018. How has this grown since you've joined in 2018 as the CEO?
Sure. And it's, a lot of things have been going on. We've been around for 105 years. So there was a lot in place before I even came on board. I was part of the board for a couple of years before I came into the CEO role in 2018. And it's been fantastic to be part of it. Probably our largest growth piece in that time has been becoming part of what is known as Early Head Start and Head Start. So yet another layer for our early childhood program. And we're just starting a new partnership with a new Head Start grant through Start Early, another great organization in town that was formerly known as the Ounce of Prevention Fund. So a lot of the listeners may know it as that, but now it's called Start Early.
Yeah, that's very exciting. What are you guys looking to do with that part of Head Start in the early childhood section of your tiers? What's the benefit to the people that you serve?
Sure. Mostly we have served for decades working families where they had to qualify for the Child Care Assistance Program, and to qualify for that, you have to be working. And with Early Head Start and Head Start, there's actually a cap. You can't make more than 100% of the federal poverty level, which is about $25,000 for a family of four. So it's really families that for whatever reason can't work full time or there's a disability involved for the parents. And so this is a way for their child to get early childhood education because they don't qualify for the CCAP program. This is another avenue for families to take advantage of making a brighter future for their children. It's amazing if you look at the research in terms of those early years between really birth and 3 and then another big jump between age 3 and 5. The 85% of your brain is developed in that time. And so the science just continues to illustrate how important it is to have that solid foundation and actually the trajectory that it can put you on if you really get that education early on.
This is Score Values on 670 The Score. We are joined by Peter Beal Del Vecchio, the CEO of Marillac St. Vincent Family Services. Peter, you talked about poverty and that CCAP level. You also have on your website a whole section just devoted to ending poverty. So could you talk about why that is such an important part of this service?
Sure. It's our vision statement is to end the cycle of poverty. And we do our part to really help families to be empowered. And it's really not us doing for them and us telling them what we think they need. It's really about working with them and them defining what their goals are and what their dreams are and how to achieve them. And so sometimes that's through our early childhood program, and sometimes it's our youth services program. Sometimes it's for our seniors, and empowerment looks like being able to stay in your home and remain independent. So if you really track all that we do, empowerment really is key. It's finding ways for people to grow and be sustainable kind of on their own. What is it that they need to be able to advance? And that really, we think, is the key to ending the cycle of poverty and really trying to, I guess in some ways you'd call it, break that cycle. But the reality is it takes sometimes multiple generations to get there. And is it an audacious goal? It certainly is. Chances are, we'll have poverty with us as long as we live, but we're doing our part now to chip away at it and find ways, like I said, to really empower people to be able to move forward.
Yeah, exactly. In doing this show, I mean, so many people have these very big mission statements. I think last week we talked to somebody who wants to end homelessness by 2035. I think I told them in that interview, no one's going to be mad if you do, but also, just for the effort and the idea, it's very good-willed and good nature. Peter Beal Del Vecchio, the CEO of Marillac St. Vincent Family Services on Score Values. Peter, I want to talk a little bit about the empowerment factor. How do you empower somebody that is in early childhood? You talk about developing the brain at 85%, but what kind of programs and what kind of services do those young people under 5 years old need? What kind of services do you provide?
Sure. Coming in, it really is curriculum-based. It really is education. It's not just babysitting or just daycare. It is about education, though the curriculum is designed for learning through play. And that really is how kids experience the world, how they figure out how things interact. So all of our classrooms that are at that, infant and toddler and then preschool level are all designed around age-appropriate play, and you have the right tools in the classroom for them to be able to experience and grow and investigate and continue to manipulate things and see how things work. And the teachers are all trained to be able to help the kids to do that and discover and learn how to come together. It's interesting with COVID, there's certainly restrictions and things that came, part of the program and the learning is also about having family style meals. They get breakfast with us, they get lunch with us, they get a snack. And it's, was before, sitting around the table and how do we share. And now we've had for the last year plus, restrictions on how we could do that. So it's been interesting to see how our team has had to adapt and be creative and resilient in terms of delivering on, what does education look like for a 5-year-old, et cetera. And I can, in each level, it goes even beyond that into our before and after school care. Some of the Blackhawks fans that are listeners might be excited to hear. We just got a grant renewed with the Blackhawks. They really work with our kids who are that group from kindergarten through 8th grade to do STEM activities. Sarah, trainer over there at the foundation, has been a fantastic liaison for us. And, our kids get to go over to the practice facility, and they do a lot of STEM activities. Sometimes they've done cooking things together. Sometimes it's science projects. Sometimes, they've even been able to get on the practice ice. A lot of different pieces to that puzzle and that relationship as well. So it evolves in terms of, what does that mean in terms of growth and education across that whole spectrum of what we do.
That's an extremely neat note about the Blackhawks there. How often do the kids get to go over there?
It happens mostly during the school year. In the summertime, we're doing a lot. It's After School Matters and the Chicago Ability Grant, and so all of our kids, basically they have summer jobs right now, and doing a lot of those pieces, and then we'll pick back up during the school year and being able to go. It depends on which group, but we try and get all the kids over there at different times. And sometimes it's, depending on which group you're in, you may not have been there for a month, but, there's different groups going all the time.
Absolutely. Something you said before was about family-style meals. I thought that was very interesting with the early childhood education program that you guys have. What have you noticed, right, and why is that beneficial to the people that you serve to have that type of family-style meals provided to them in school?
Yeah, just think back to maybe when you're little, maybe you don't have all those memories top of mind, but in part that's a little bit about how you learn to share. Sometimes it's sharing a toy. Sometimes it's, how do we come around a table together and share a meal, and what does that look like? And it's not only sharing the food and, what are the appropriate portions to put on your plate, especially when you're passing a bowl around, and how do you, not that they have a conversation that maybe you and I would have around the table, but how do little kids have to, have a conversation over their lunch together. And so there's a lot of pieces that are in there, and, what's healthy, and, why do we need to take that broccoli if you don't like broccoli, and why is it important to drink all of your milk? And, there's all of those pieces that are folded into being able to come around a meal together.
This is 670 The Score Values, and we are speaking with Peter Beal Del Vecchio, the CEO of Marillac St. Vincent Family Services. And Peter, you list on your website 3 ways to get involved with the services. You can go to visit your website at marillac-stvincent.org. That is MARILLAC Saint St. Vincent VINCENT.org. You list 3 ways to get involved: donate, volunteer, and advocate. Could you explain those, and why is that? Obviously, why is it important? You need people to be involved with your organization, but
right.
Donate, volunteer, advocate. How can people help out, basically?
Sure. And I'll make an easier URL for everybody. The MSVChicago.org will also get you to our website, and you can look at there's a take action button, and it will give you, just like you said, the donate, volunteer, advocate options there. In terms of donate, that's pretty straightforward. We need money to be able to do what we do day in and day out. It's a simple phrase we use in the nonprofit world about it being, no money, no mission. And so that's what makes us go. We have an event coming up in October. It's our annual Beacon of Hope Luncheon. It's going to be a virtual event held on Friday, October 22nd. So that's an easy way for people to, even if they can't come in person, to have lunch with us. If they want to get online, hear and see a little bit more about what we do and have an opportunity to donate there. Of course, you can always donate on our website as well. In terms of volunteering, it's a huge part of making us actually work and get the work done. We have really, with COVID, not been able to have as many volunteers. We used to have volunteer grandparents would come into our classrooms. They would read books to kids. They would help, and help manage play. And we're starting to get back into that now with people who are vaccinated coming into the classroom. But our food pantries, again, we're on the west side, not maybe a mile from the United Center, further west. And so people come in and help to pack up boxes for distribution. Again, with COVID, we've had to limit how we have interaction with people coming through the door. So it looks a little different than it has for a while, but that extra work means we need more volunteers to be able to facilitate all of that. So you can work in the food pantry. Maybe you come to our classrooms. Maybe it's working with some kids, tutoring after school. There's any number of options in terms of if you want hands-on, you can certainly do that. There's a volunteer application that's on the website, and that's how you get the ball started there. In terms of advocacy, there's a lot of government bills that are in Springfield that advocate for early childhood education. There's one right now, HB 3620, that is looking to be sure that you can't restrict the access to the Child Care Assistance Program. It can never go below the 200% of poverty level. So again, I talked about earlier for early Head Start and Head Start, you can only be at 100%, but for the CCAP program, it can be up to 200%. And actually right now, Governor Pritzker has pushed it a little further. So we just want to make sure it never falls back under 200% of the federal poverty level, which is about $50,000 for a family of four. So there's a bill out there right now. Those are the kind of things, those bills that are out there can help us to just stabilize things for the communities that we serve. So that's another way you can get out there and advocate and contribute to what we do every day.
That's the voice of Peter Beal Del Vecchio, the CEO of Marillac St. Vincent Family Services. Again, you can visit their website at msvchicago.org, and there you can donate, volunteer, and be an advocate for early education, like Peter just said. Peter, thank you so much for your time and helping educate our audience about MSV. Yeah,
can I just put one more plug in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Rush University Hospital has been a fantastic partner with us. They've been doing COVID vaccinations, and starting this Friday and for the next 8 weeks, every Friday between 8 and 11:30 in the morning at our West Side location at 2859 West Jackson, you can come and get free COVID shots, and they have Pfizer and they have Johnson & Johnson. So kids as young as 12 can come and get vaccinated, and they've already promised that if the vaccine gets approved for kids under 12, they'll continue to work with us into the fall to allow our families to take advantage of the vaccine. So they've just been an incredible partner of ours, and really wanted to lift them up, as well as one more with Riverside Foods. Riverside has been a great partner. They are giving us a grant so that we can purchase greens and produce for each of our food pantry guests at the Garfield Park Produce and Urban Produce, both local growers on the west side. And it's just a tremendous partnership where you see corporate support supporting other nonprofits that then make it to us and the people that we serve in the pantry. There's just so many good things going on out here. So between Riverside Foods and that partnership and Rush University Hospital and everything with the Blackhawks and Chicago Ability Grant, there's a lot going on over here, both on the west side and in our location in Lincoln Park.
Extremely exciting stuff there. I just want to make sure the Foglia Family and Youth Center on 2859 West Jackson Boulevard is where you guys are going to pair up with Rush for those vaccines, right?
That's correct.
Okay, 2859, and that's starting Friday?
Yeah, starting this Friday. They've been doing it for a few Fridays, but now we have a regular schedule for the next 8 Fridays in a row.
Awesome. Very exciting, Peter. Thank you so much for your time, and we're really grateful for your time and helping us get educated about Marillac St. Vincent Family Services.
Thanks, Sean. Really appreciate it.